Now the Three Martini Lunch with Greg Corombos and Jim Garrity.
And welcome, everyone, to the Wednesday edition of the Three Martini Lunch, along with Jim Garrity of National Review, who is also author of The Weed Agency. I'm Greg Corombos of Radio America. Not any good martinis today, two bads, and a very crazy, and we'll get to those in due time. We start with the bad, and it's the one that most people are talking about today, and that's the horrific video posted by ISIS on Tuesday showing the brutal beheading of American photojournalist James Foley. Doesn't exactly say where it is, but they claim that this is due to America's policies towards ISIS. They brought out another American and said that he would be killed if America doesn't change course. Then obviously the brutal beheading took place on film, and some people watched it and some people didn't. Those who saw what happened to Daniel Pearl know exactly what happened. Jim, so what we're once again dealing with here is a brand of evil that is one that a lot of people like to sugarcoat, but the fact is these people are as savage as it gets.
When a reporter disappears in a war zone, you always recognize the worst is a possibility. And yesterday we got confirmation that the worst had indeed occurred, that ISIS had him and ISIS brutally murdered him on camera, making him recite appalling, ludicrous warning to President Obama. The only thing that's kind of the bright spot of this is that this was designed to intimidate Americans. And I've not heard much of that this morning. I think most people's attitude is, let's go get these guys. We sought to make airstrikes because they were threatening the Yazidis. They were attempting to commit genocide. We're doing that because we wanted to. Defending American lives is something we need to do. And if they've just thought that they could basically make us go away by killing Americans, well, they've just made a terrible miscalculation. The evil of ISIS is right there for everyone to see. Interesting kind of discussion this morning about the use of the images from that video. Both the New York Daily News and New York Post have images from that. The New York Post showing the knife at his throat. I can understand people saying that that's a horrific image and they don't want to look at it. On the other hand, this is the truth of who ISIS is. I think there's a part of me that feels like averting our eyes too much amounts to a certain airbrushing of history. Sometimes the truth is brutal, and there's a part of me that feels like we just see them as they are. So I guess my attitude is no one may want to watch the video. Seeing ISIS for what they are is important at a moment like this, and hopefully the country is being galvanized by that. You may not be interested in war, but war is interested in you. And I think this is the beginning, a long fight between the United States and ISIS, or perhaps not such a long fight, depending how effective we are, may be, really picking up steam here because we have to. We made clear that they're not going anywhere and we're not going anywhere. So we'll see how this shakes out. On
to the other bad martini now, and that is the American reaction to this. As Jim points out in Campaign Spot, over there, as Jim puts it, UK Prime Minister David Cameron cut short his summer vacation to return to London and chair urgent meetings on the threat posed by ISIS in Iraq and Syria, calling the video shocking and depraved. Over here, President Obama went back to his vacation on Martha's Vineyard Tuesday evening following less than 48 hours in Washington, leaving people puzzled over why he came back in the first place, and we'll get to that in the crazy martini. But Jim, for hours and hours and hours, nothing from the White House, then a very tentative statement about if this is true, and they were trying to confirm that it was the case. If true, this is appalling kind of a thing, and then we may get a statement later today, but the reaction here from the administration leaves a lot to be desired.
Let's begin with the boilerplate sympathy for the president. It's probably very rarely a good time for a president to go on vacation. The president, according to the White House, was briefed about the beheading video while he was on Air Force One returning to Martha's Vineyard. I understand the president cannot be in red alert mode all the time, and that, there's only so much the president can do when something terrible happens in a far-off land. Having said that, it is 11 o'clock this morning, and there certainly has been no on-camera statement from the President of the United States. There was as you said, an issued statement from the spokesperson for the National Security Council. The understanding is our intelligence authority are trying to confirm this video. Now, is it possible the video is faked in some way? I suppose, but apparently as of early this morning, U.S. officials were saying they believed the video was authentic. The UK treats this as a very big deal. The rest of the world is treating this as a very big deal, and the president has returned to vacation. Now, we don't know what he's going to do today. Sometimes it just seems like the president is off duty And this moment, ISIS executing an American on camera, calls for more than just the boilerplate "we will not rest" statement and heading out to the golf course. We will see what the president does today. But yesterday I had this item on campaign spots saying that this is a senior Democrat with ties to the Hill, saying that except for fundraising, it appears POTUS has completely checked out. Well, you can't check out when you're president of the United States, and particularly not when we are at war, and particularly you got to get your head in the game, Mr. President. The morning is stretching on, and we've heard nothing from the president about this. And it's just a strange quiet coming. Now, maybe he's meeting with the Pentagon, and maybe we are readying a serious blow to ISIS forces. And if so, I will be the first to say, attaboy, Mr. President. I'm kind of left with this strange quiet from the White House regarding these set of circumstances. And you just kind of wonder, is this, I don't know if the president should be at Martha's Vineyard at a moment like this. The world is in really rough shape, and other leaders are canceling vacations. It doesn't look good for the president of the United States to be continuing his 2-week vacation, and this is kind of a natural segue to what I think might be one of the craziest crazy martinis we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, this from the Hill. President Obama went back to his vacation on Martha's Vineyard Tuesday, following less than 48 hours in Washington, leaving people puzzled over why he came back in the first place. Obama's 2 days in Washington were mostly quiet and concluded with the president receiving his daily national security briefing in the morning and joining Vice President Biden to huddle with members of the economic team in the afternoon. They basically say that Obama does not like to interrupt vacation, so there's a lot of speculation that there might be his unilateral action on immigration. Some said tax reform. There had been speculation outside of White House circles that maybe there would be a Supreme Court vacancy. No. The most unusual deviation from a normal day at the White House was Obama's dinner Monday night at Sam Cass's home. The president, joined by Deputy Chief of Staff Anita Breckenridge, spent nearly 5 hours at the White House chef's DuPont Circle duplex apartment. It's possible that the party may have been a celebration of Cass's impending nuptials to MSNBC host Alex Wagner. The couple announced their engagement in September, but the White House provided no details on the meal. So, Jim, it's possible that he only came back to Washington to go to a dinner, and we paid for it.
I'm kind of there are a lot of bits of news that I can find the words to kind of express. At this point, I think I'm just flat out in denial, and I tweeted out that this can't really be the reason he came back to Washington. Yes, we know the president took a meeting with Holder on Ferguson. Yes, we know he was updated on the situation in Iraq. But as the defenders of the president's vacations keep telling us, he can do the job from anywhere. He can talk in video conference, and the job of the presidency goes with him everywhere. So something required him to be in D.C. on Monday and Tuesday, and the unnerving thought is that it was this party. The other thing was that he spent apparently close to 5 hours at this party on Monday night, while Ferguson is burning, while ISIS is on the move. Really? It's like he's inviting the comparisons to Nero. When the world feels like it's burning, it is spinning off its axis. Things are going really wrong really fast. How on earth can you put yourself in a situation where you're off partying with MSNBC producers and things like that? I'm really left stunned, and I had a post yesterday, as I said, quoting this senior Democrat saying the president is checked out, saying that we on the right had said that Obama had never been anything resembling the challenges of the presidency. But if this is truly the case, we are really in for a dangerous years ahead, because it's as if the president is AWOL. The president has just decided he's not dealing with the problems of the world, and you don't get to do that when you're commander-in-chief. Hopefully we are readying some serious counterpunch against ISIS, but otherwise it looks like the president just decided, hey, you know what? I can't do anything with this Congress. I'm very frustrated. You only live once. You're only president once. Time to go out and enjoy and party, and that's not what the country needs right now, much less the world. And it's just unbelievable, Greg. I'm really beside myself with the possibility that this could be the actual reason the president came back to Washington.
Well, according to the Hill story, of course, the big thing that he did while he was here officially was to meet with Eric Holder about Ferguson, but Holder was already up at Martha's Vineyard before then. He did not return with him because he's headed out to Missouri today, but if he came back for the meeting, that was a long commute when he could have just met up there. But Jim, on a horrible and confusing day, we'll call it there. We'll talk again tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll see you, Greg.
Jim Garrity of National Review. I'm Greg Columbus of Radio America. Thanks for being with us today, and we'll be back on Thursday for the next 3 Martini Lunch.
and suggests that, like, besides the usual laments of this